Hey, friends and family, I've got a treat for you today. I was able to get an interview with a man named Karl Domm. Now, for some context, what Karl Domm does is he runs a YouTube channel called The Real P&L, and we'll link to it in the description down below. But what he does is he signs up for internet courses for day traders and then pretends to be a part of the program to see how well the program does so that he can give it a rating as to whether or not he thinks it's legitimate. So it's kind of an exciting, interesting way of finding people who are kind of more on the scammy side of this day trader world where they're selling these educations and you're paying, upwards of thousands of dollars in order to be a part of this program. And he kind of sees whether or not they're real. They can actually do what it is that they say they can do. So before we get into it, make sure to destroy that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and let's get started. So, hey, Karl, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing, AJ?
All right. I'm doing pretty well. Before we got into our interview and we started talking, I wanted to kind of introduce why I found you and why I think what you're doing is super, super cool. So, probably, I would say maybe 5-ish years ago or so, when I was, in my investment infancy. I wouldn't say I was an infant at that point, but I was still kind of investing without really knowing what I was doing. I was buying index funds and putting stuff in my 401k and not really thinking about it. And then someone on Facebook found me and was trying to get me to sign up for their course, and was plugging their course as like, you just follow my investments and we'll all be super rich at the end of it. And all that stuff sounded real fuzzy to me. I have a really high sort of scammer radar, and I just assume everybody is scamming me until they prove otherwise. So I started asking for stuff like, can you show me what your annual returns are? I didn't even know the words P&L at the time. I just asked, like, can you show me what your annual return is and what your return on investment looks like? And he kept sending me individual days. Right. And I'm not a dummy. I understand that he's showing me his best days and he's, excluding his worst days. But he kept saying, like, I do this full time and, people are signing up for my stuff and all they have to do is copy it. So I went and found his YouTube channel, and in his YouTube channel, it's just like an hour long of him sort of ranting at his people about how you have to do exactly what I tell you or you're all going to be poor. So fast forward now to this year and the crash of this year. I can't find his stuff anywhere. So what I'm assuming is his strategy worked for while the economy was going up, which, everybody's strategy works while the economy's going up. And then as soon as there was an hiccup, I'm assuming he just disappeared and he left. So somewhere around that time, I think I saw you on CoffeeZilla. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I was on CoffeeZilla. It was maybe close to a year ago now, or maybe even more than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was about, I think, when I found you on, and then you were talking about how you do all these course reviews and look at these people who are doing this kind of thing and kind of poke them for information like their actual P&L. For people who don't know, that's the profit and loss statement. How much money are you putting in and what do you have at the end of it, so that we can see, are you actually successful or are you blowing smoke and your entire lifestyle is built around selling this lie? And so I started watching the individual stuff, and I saw that you do these, like, you sign up for the courses so that you can see what they're actually doing, and then tell us whether or not you think that's cool or that they're, telling the truth. I know that your language is a bit, you're,
It's
I
all,
would
it's
say you
about
follow the legal.
perceived, it's about perception versus reality. It's kind of the way that I look at it. So yeah, I did take, I've taken probably over 30 online courses at this point.
Wow.
And the reason why I was able to do that is because I've been trading since the mid 1990s online. So I have pretty good knowledge about, I've tried a lot of things, right? And so I've kind of been there. And so when these guys do certain things, I'm like, okay, I remember kind of trying that. So I pick up on these things very quickly. So I can take a course and it doesn't take me long to literally understand, what they're doing and how they're doing things. So it's easy for me to go ahead and follow along. And I actually took a $25,000 paper money account, and I'll follow their trades. a lot of times I can't even figure out what kind of sizing am I supposed to do. I mean, they don't even tell me how much I got. I tell them too. I'll write them. I got a $25,000 account. How much should I do? Two tranches, five tranches? Like you're just telling me some trade. Like how much should I do? And 95% of them don't even tell me about sizing. So how am I going to even allocate capital properly? And then I take their, and I follow exactly what they do and do exactly what they say, and then I report. And I think I've got two or three or four positive reviews. One of my reviews is
Hmm.
semi-positive only because I feel like the guy actually kind of got lucky that particular month because I do it for 30 days. He kind of got lucky that month and caught a winner.
Hmm.
But so I had to give him a semi-positive review only because I couldn't prove that what he was doing wasn't making money, even though statistically I could show, but during that time period, it was the statistical anomaly where he made money. So I had to kind of, hey, okay, this guy made money. His system kind of could work, kind of thing. But yeah, and I've been trading, like I said, basically, well, I can get a little bit into my background. I kind of skim over it
Yes,
really
please.
quick.
Yeah,
Um,
go ahead.
so I have a business degree. I own some real estate. I used to own more real estate. I have my real estate broker's license in California. I'm in Central California. Actually, I recently just got my financial advisor's license just like last week. I got registered.
Oh,
Let me
that's cool.
officially tell you what it officially is called. I don't want to, I have to write it down because there's so many little critiques and law, like exactly. So I'm an investment advisor representative. Okay.
Hmm.
So yes, for that you have to pass a Series 65 test, which is kind of a hard test, I guess. It just depends on how much experience you have. And then because I'm registered, which means I'm a fiduciary, so that's a whole separate subject than my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is a whole separate world, right? So on my YouTube channel, I am not acting as a financial advisor. I am a financial advisor, but I'm not acting as a financial advisor.
Sure.
But I don't know how I got into that, but I'm going to go into kind of my background. Basically, I traded from about the mid 90s till about 2008, I was trading options and I blew up my account more than once. And in 2008 was the last time I blew up my account because I always thought that I could make money. I always had this system and it was going to make it. And I just leveraged and I put everything I had into it because
Hmm.
this is the one. This is going to make it. And so every time I did that, it was only a month or two before I blew out the account. So in 2008, I finally realized, maybe I should learn from somebody else or other people because at the time I just studied everything on my own. And I started studying other people and everything. And then in 2014, there was a lot of learning and stuff all the way from 2008 to 2014 where I was learning and stuff. But 2014, I found Tasty Trade. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but they're really good about learning how to trade options in a traditional manner.
Hmm.
And a traditional manner is important because it's more of a basis, a stepping stone to get into the more advanced level. And so I followed Taster Trade for 3 years, from 14 to 2017. And then in 2017 is when I kind of got into the advanced strategies, and I've been trading. And about mid 18 is about the time when I just thought, okay, I got this thing perfected. I got it down, which I kind of did. I had to make a couple more tweaks since then. And then 2019 came around, and I thought, well, I'll start a YouTube channel because I got on YouTube a couple times, and I'm like, well, who are these guys saying that they're successful traders on here? Like, okay, I took me 25 years, and these guys some of them are like 23 years old.
Yeah, right. Like 12-year-olds.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, this doesn't seem realistic. And then I have this. I had a friend of mine tell me this yesterday. He said, since you're a financial advisor right now, you need to get out of that space because there's a bunch of, it's just a bad space to be in, selling courses and things like that, because everybody in there
Hmm.
is almost everyone's a scammer. And I'm like, yes, I can see your point, but here's the problem, or here's the solution, or my situation is I can't stand it when people get ripped off. It just gets under my skin. I can't because I can see it happening. I can see these people saying things that aren't true and I can just know they're not true, but I can't, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to prove it. So I went in to try to, and I'm looking to see these guys on YouTube and I'm like, no, this is, no, I've already tried all these things. They don't work. So I'm going to take these guys' course because I can't stand this stuff. Like it gives me energy to see people that could be ripping other people off and to take the time and energy to see what they're doing. If that took away energy from me, then I would stop doing it. But the fact that it gives me energy because I get riled up. I'm like, no, this guy, this can't be. Maybe he's right. Let me give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll take the course. But these guys, I'd say 99% of them out there are scammers. And so the bottom line was when I kind of came to the conclusion was back in 2019 is how do I know if these guys are for real or not? Like, what's the easy question to ask them?
Hmm.
And that easy question is, what's your P&L? I couldn't believe that there were people on YouTube saying that they made money but weren't showing their P&L. Like that didn't logically fit in my mind. How do you tell people you're making money but you don't show them with your P&L? Like how do you keep avoiding the P&L part of it? Like
Yeah.
that
Oh,
it doesn't make sense to me.
that was one thing that I asked this guy when he showed me his single day returns. And I just multiplied that return over like a year, and it was something like 1,000%. Right. So I'm like, okay, so in 1 year, you're going to be richer than Warren Buffett. I'm like, give me the real number. What's the real number?
Yeah, and what did he come back with?
I mean, the same,
Nothing.
kind of scammy stuff that you hear everywhere, which is like, not all days are like this, but, this is how good it can be. And Warren Buffett can't trade I can't remember what he called them because I'm not a trader myself, so I don't have all the lingo, but he can't trade the low something stocks,
Oh, the low
yeah,
volume, the stocks that don't have as much volume because he has so much capital,
yeah.
he's got to stay in the big stocks, the big cap stocks, the low caps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Low cap. There you go. Yeah, yeah. So I was like, okay, so you're telling me that Warren Buffett can't figure out how to get as rich as you because he has too much money? That
Yeah.
doesn't sound right.
It just doesn't, when you get to the bottom line, okay, so I started a Twitter. I think you found me via Twitter, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
I
I looked you up.
recently, at Karl Domm, I recently started my Twitter account. It's probably been about 3 weeks, maybe a month. And I'm asking all these people on there that selling courses. I verify that they're selling a course first, and I look at them, and if they have a big following, then I'll start following them, and then I'll ask them, hey, do you think instructors should share their P&L? So one guy's blocked me so far, and I've got about six others that just straight up don't answer. They act like I don't exist. So I don't know a lot about Twitter. Do they see my question on there, or is it just they don't see it at all? Because I'm just baffled at no response after no response.
I think that I think that it's better for them to pretend that you don't exist because as soon as they start engaging, if they can't answer the question, it floats the comment up in priority.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, it's
So if
better
they
to them
start
to ignore.
engaging with you, their actual people who are paying them money are going to see what's happening and they're going to maybe run for the door at that point. So it's easier just to ignore you completely
So
or
they have
block you.
experience.
I would
They have
assume that's
experience
the
of
case.
dealing with
Yeah.
people that ask them the wrong question, and they already know
Yeah.
what to do, right? That's what's happening.
Yeah. And my favorite part is the belittling part. So this guy immediately went to like, if you want to be poor, you could be poor forever. You don't have to listen to me. Like he is the gateway to being wealthy. And if I don't follow his system, then I'm never going to be wealthy. Right. But he doesn't know anything about me. So he hasn't asked anything about what I do or what information or how much I'm worth or anything. He's just like immediately it's like this belittling game. And then that's when flags were really going off.
Well, I had a guy contact me in Discord the other day because I saw his live stream and he claimed that he was going to start sharing his P&L. And so I said, okay, when are you going to start sharing your P&L? Well, I guess he has been, but he, I I think that'll all be temporary. We'll see what happens because that's typically what happens. But he private messaged me and was telling me, you can make XYZ by doing this method that I have. Have you considered this method? And I'm like, what's your track record? Well, this is the method that makes the greatest amount of return. I'm like, am I talking to a bot? Are you a real person? I asked you a question. And then I sent him a video. I have a video. If you're in my mailing list, you'll get access to a video of mine over my last 3 years of trading where I share my P&L and how much money I made and everything
Hmm.
in all my accounts. So I sent that to him and he didn't really respond. And I said, what's your 3-year track record? And, and finally he said, well, it's not a bot. No, I'm a real person. And then he's like, well, you know how it is when you sell a course. You just gotta, be persistent. I'm like, no, it's not what it is. It's about either being real or not being real. Like you're just, okay, well, thanks for your time or whatever, and he had to go because he was trying to get me to buy his program. And I'm like, why would I buy your program? You just, here's a video of me making money trading. So why are you even in here asking me? I mean, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's
Like
so true.
how that's kind of arrogant. I've had
So
people
I've
ask me if I wanted to go into their program or whatever they call it to join their club or whatever and pay them money, but that they don't show their P&L and they know that I'm profitable. Like, why are you asking me this? Where are you getting this? It doesn't make sense to me.
because that's the scam, right? So have you ever? I've always wondered this, and I wondered this about this guy, and I asked him this question, but I didn't get a straight response, and I can't remember what it was. But I asked him like, how much of your income comes from your wins that you're not showing me because you're not showing me your returns or your P&L, versus how much are you making because you're selling this whole
Mhm.
thing? And if you have a whole bunch of wins and you could be richer than Warren Buffett in a year, like you're, suggesting, why are you taking my $500? Like, why don't you just tell everybody how to do this for free? Like, what do you need my money for? So I guess my question for you is, have you ever asked, like, can you show your, like, like to the person, can you show your business profit, like based off of your investments versus the cash flow from your course? And has anyone been willing to show you that information?
um, okay, well, you you should go to my channel and you should see one of my most popular videos. So that's what I want to refer to.
Okay.
Because I want to keep it as light as possible in terms of there's an aspect of something going on in my life. If you watch that video, you'll know what it is and you'll know why I can't really talk about it right now, but I will talk about it in the future. So that would answer that question very cleanly. I'll answer that question. I made more money trading than I did with my courses. I have courses. My goal is to make more money with my courses. My goal is to grow my business bigger and make more with my courses, but I haven't been able to do that yet. But I would say 99.999 all the percent of the other YouTubers out there that have courses are making way more money with their courses than they are trading. In fact, they're probably not making any money trading at all. I think there's very few that are. And if they are, I believe it's uh, more temporary because it depends on what kind of market you're in. So there's 4 types of
Hmm.
markets. There's a bull market, there's a
Mm-hmm.
grind down market, there's a sideways market, there's a grind down market, and there's a crash. So 2022 was a grind down market. The market didn't crash like in March of 2020, that was a crash.
Hmm.
And then in
That's true. It was a slow,
2019, that was
slow
a bull
grind down.
market. Okay, so you had a bull, then you had a crash, and then you had a grind down. I made money in all 3 of those markets. So
Hmm.
that's the key. Can you make money in all the markets? Because if you're, like you said earlier, if you're just long and the market keeps going up higher, you look like you're a whiz kid. But it's just because of the market environment you're in. Are you really prepared for the other 3 market types that could occur? And so that's what your trade system should be based on. It should be based on those 4 market types. Because if you can't make money in all 4 of those, when you might be able to make money in three of them, but when the crash comes, you're going to be draw down 50%. You should see, I did a video on Tasty Trade. I did a review of Tasty Trade. There's a problem. I like Tasty Trade, but they have issues with the way they trade.
Mm.
I have issues with the way they trade. And I proved that in a video, and I had one of their guys, Jim Schultz, is their one of their guys on there. Real smart guy. He's got his PhD and all that.
Mm.
And you can watch the video and you can see where his account drew down 50% because of the
Oof.
crash. And this happened over like a
Ouch.
2 or 3 week period. Well, yeah, you have a system that works really good in three markets, but when that fourth market comes, you drew down 50%. Now, oh,
Mm.
big deal, draw down 50%. But think about it. To get back just to even, you have to make a 100% return now. If you draw down 50%, say you go from
Mm-hmm.
you have a $100,000 account, it goes down to 50,000. Now you have to make 50,000. Now you have to make 100% to get back to even. So that is a big deal if you have a 50% drawdown. Those big drawdowns are what you're trying to avoid. Those and I can show even the best of them or the ones that seem legit. They'll make money during certain time periods, but what's going to happen when the market crashes again? And it will crash again. Everybody knows that, right? So you
Mm-hmm.
got to be prepared for every kind of market and protect your capital. So that's just another aspect of thinking the way that I think when I approach my reviews. And I always kind of think about, some of the times I'll think, okay, yeah, this guy made money, but wait a minute, what if I picked up his portfolio right now and rewound it into March of 2020? What would it look like?
Mm.
Down 65%. Do you really want a portfolio that's going to be down 65% at one point if the market crashes? No. So you have to kind of think of it. I hope that's kind of why I developed my channel, so I could help educate people on the way that I think, because I think it will help them avoid a lot of mistakes and avoid losing money from following people that really aren't legitimate.
Yeah, agreed. Like the pull for get rich quick is so strong that people are willing to believe a lot just to, just on the hope. It's like a gamble for them and they're willing to gamble it. And then, we know, and, watching your channel, especially, that this isn't a gamble. This is a guaranteed loss in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Like you're not gambling to win here. You're just giving your money over.
Well, I was
Have
that
you?
guy. I was that guy when I was in my 20s, right? I get it.
Yeah, right.
I did the same thing, but I didn't follow anybody into the hole. I dug my own hole.
What made you keep trying? Because I feel like I would give up if I lost everything in my 20s or I failed.
Just just arrogance, really, because I just thought I was smarter than everybody else and I could figure this thing out, to be
That's
honest.
awesome.
And I think a lot of people think like that, and
Hmm.
I think that's a great way to think because eventually you can find the answer of whatever. You can accomplish anything if you have that I'm never going to quit. There's no way nothing's going to stop me and I'm special and I'm going to fucking figure it out on my own and maybe nobody else can figure it out. Yeah, I have that belief, and I think that's what kind of kept me going. And I just knew I was going to figure it out. I didn't care what was going to, some way or another, it was going to happen. And around
So no,
2018 is kind of pretty much when it did. It took me a long
so
time.
yeah, I was gonna say from the '90s till 2018. So anyone getting into it, it's gonna take some time to learn.
They're going to take some time, but
Um,
see, that's
yeah.
the thing that I bring to the table with my courses and things like that. I get people on that fast track.
Mm.
Avoid all that other stuff and kind of here's the way I trade. And I'm not saying that you're going to be back exactly be able to duplicate what I'm doing, but let me tell you, if I found me, that would have cut 20 to 20, that would have cut 25 years off of my trading,
Mm.
right? So maybe it would only took me 3 years to get up to snuff instead of 27, 25 years or whatever it was.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that you show your real P&L.
Yeah, every month since 2019, I've been sharing my P&L on my channel. So some people show P&L. I did a review on one person that showed their P&L for 2 months in a row.
Mm.
Well, that's because they made money. So it was like March or
Right.
April, right? And they're like, I made money in January and in February and March. I made money the last 3 months. I'm going to show my P&L now. Hindsight,
Yeah, right.
right? And then when April and May and June and July came around, I'm like, Where is it? Why did you stop?
Yeah,
Well, there's a reason for
that'd be
that
like a,
because it's no
when I
longer
when I
there.
first
And they
started.
she made a mistake showing her P&L in the first place because now she can't say, "Oh, that's not important."
Yeah, right.
So I did a review
Because you
on her
admitted it.
too. That would be Humble Trader.
Okay, I'll try to link to all
Yeah, I mean, just you
these
can link
references
to
you're making
my
here.
channel in general, I guess. That, yeah.
But yeah, that'd be the same for me. Like, in because I'm big in real estate. So if you watched our channel, I talk about real estate almost all the time, and it would have been like me showing my real estate P&L from when I started in 2019 all the way until like November 2021, and then stopping because I don't want to actually show you what happened
When there's a
after that when
downturn.
everything started grinding down.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's a question I have for you. I haven't seen a lot of your stuff. You're into the real estate end of it. Uh, how are you doing with that? What's do you have a portfolio? How's that going?
Yeah. So we have 4 single family homes, and they're all Airbnbs, and that's
Oh,
what we
okay.
focus on is Airbnbs.
Excellent.
And it's been going great. Like we've been producing between about 1,500 to about 2,000 in cash flow per month per house.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lot of cash flow. It's a lot of startup cost, right? So we could have a lot more in terms of houses if we went long term or even apartments, right? So the amount of cash we've tossed in has been a lot. But because you have to renovate places, people aren't willing to go to like old houses for Airbnbs. You have to keep them up to date. You have to furnish them nicely. So I hire a company that comes in and does everything, and that's costly. I tried to do it myself the first time. That was rough. I tried to buy everything, and I was building furniture for like days. I'm never doing that again. I'm just gonna pay someone and I'll eat the upfront cost for
Yeah.
now. But the cash flow is awesome, and all of the stuff that we've bought has been in Austin. So the appreciation has been great up
Oh, wow.
until
Yeah.
November of 2021. So I have 2 houses. The first 2 houses I've over doubled my investment just in the appreciation alone, not counting cash flow. And then the new houses, one of them is even, and the other one has lost value from our purchase price. But it still cash flows. So because I'm not playing the short term game, I'm not flipping anything. I don't actually care about that.
As
I'm going
long
to
as you're
hold on to
cash
these
flowing, you're
guys.
good. Who cares, right?
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
And that's all we need, to weather whatever this storm is happening. And then, like I tell my audience, like I'm going to dollar cost average houses, just like I would dollar cost average any other long term investment. So if something crashes here in the next year and everything drops, I'm going to buy another one. And if it drops again, I'll buy another one. Right. And then when all of the stuff starts to turn around at some point in the future, like I'll be sitting in a place where, and of, one of the things that we teach is how much money you're putting down has to calculate over the 2008 crash, because that's the worst example that we can find in the last 30 years is the 2008 crash. So if
Okay.
you're putting enough down and your cash flow can handle a crash like 2008, then you could just keep buying through that crash if that was to happen again, right? Because we don't know where these interest rates are going. We're gonna assume something bad is coming even if we don't know, right? And then we'll keep making sure. So for the house that I'm upside down on, we put 35% down. We went higher than the normal, because we just didn't know what was going to happen.
But like you said, I mean, if you're cash flowing, it doesn't matter at all. It really,
Exactly.
you can hold forever. Now, if you have an
Yeah.
alligator, that's where you run into problems, right? That's where you have issues in the when the price goes down. Yeah, I used to own quite a few properties. I only own the property I live in and one other one right now.
Hmm.
But man, we've taken that rent up from like, shoot, it was like 15, $1,800 a month. Now it's like 2,800. I'm like, wow, our payment didn't go
Right.
up. So that's the real estate deal has been pretty good. I'm always interested in real estate. I've been looking to buy some more, and I've been waiting
Hmm.
for the since 2017 for the market to come down, but it's actually kind of almost doubled since then. So I'm like, okay, I'll just keep waiting. I want to wait until nobody wants to buy. Like 2011, everybody's like, I don't want anything to do with real estate. That's when
Hmm.
I want to buy it.
Yeah.
But
Well, you could see now. We talked about this recently. The number of mortgage applications is dropping dramatically, and the months of inventory is slowly climbing. Right. And so for people who aren't real estate people, that means that the months of inventory is how much, like if they were to stop putting new houses on the market for sale, how long they think it would take to sell out completely, right? Everything that's currently on the market. So that kind of tells you like how much is a, it doesn't work in terms of like how many houses are on the market. It's just how long will it take for them to all sell them. And then for mortgage applications, they're dropping. And we know that the Federal Reserve is promising to increase that a little bit more as far as interest rates go, which is going to drive down demand. And at some point, all these people who haven't been selling, they've been holding on, are going to start looking at this like I've got to cut my losses if we start hitting a slide. And if people start looking at it in that way, we are looking at, and kind of like you talked about with the market, I don't think it'll be a drop like 2008. I don't think there's anything that exists where all of a sudden everybody's house is going to get repossessed.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not enough upside down mortgages and there's not enough adjustable rate mortgages out there. But what will happen is that slow grind where we're just kind of grinding down, and we've been seeing that for a while, and I think it's just going to keep grinding down, and we'll hit some sort of equilibrium at some point, and then that's when, like you're saying, not a lot of people are going to want to buy at that point because they are assuming the grind will continue, and a lot of people are selling because they're worried that the grind will continue, and that's when you want to buy. And hopefully we could scrounge enough cash around to buy as much as we
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. So I think what's happening now, there's people like me with a low interest rate mortgage. And so if I want to move into a better house, it's going to cost me a bunch of money. I know
Yep.
before, if I could get the same mortgage and move into another house, I could get the same, let's say I want to increase my mortgage payment by $500 or $1,000. Well, okay, I could get, a $300,000 better house or whatever, right? So I could buy a
Hmm.
better house. But right now, if I moved laterally, it would cost me more money to live in that house that's the same level
Yep.
as the one I'm in. So I'm not moving. So then there's some stuff, the transaction levels have dropped. I think they were maybe at what, 6 million or something like that a month. And now
Hmm.
they're dropping down to like 4 million a month. And they might just kind of level off at like 4 million across the country. I think those are the numbers. But yeah, I
Hmm.
kind of keep my toes in the real estate market a little bit. I talked to my buddy too, who's an agent out here. I live in Central California. And I said, "Hey, are
Hmm.
the prices dropping?" He said, "Not really. So the list price are still the same. So if you're asking $300,000 for a house, it's still 300,000. But when the buyer comes in, they're asking for you to pay for escrow. They're asking for you to fix everything. They're asking for blah blah
Hmm.
blah. And by the time you get in there, there's a $20,000 credit. So yeah, it's
Yep.
listed at 300,000 and it's sold at 300,000, but technically it's sold at 280,000 because of all the credits that the buyer got. So it's more of a buyer's market. So here, technically some of the pricing is coming down just a little bit, like maybe 5%, but then when you really get down to the bottom line, it's maybe 10 to 15% when you get all those buyer credits.
Hmm.
So that's
We,
kind of what
we're
I've seen here.
I'm in the Bay Area in California,
Oh
so I'm
yeah.
not too far away from you. Yeah, and we've seen pretty big drops.
Wait, you said you
Like,
bought your stuff in
you know,
Austin.
yeah, I don't buy here. Everything's upside down here. So, like we rent a house here that's like nearly $3 million, and there's no way I could afford the mortgage for this house.
Yeah, so at that
But
level, in that area, it's way economical to rent
hmm
than it is to buy.
and then
Um,
our cash flow from Austin can cover the rent here without any problems, and then we still get the appreciation like we would
in
have if we
Austin,
bought.
yeah, that was a good place to
Exactly.
buy over
Yeah.
there. Um, I follow a guy, uh, his channel is one rental at a time. I watch him every once in a while. Have you heard of him?
Oh yeah. I have not. I'll have to
But
look
he
that up.
actually lives in the Bay Area, but he invests in Fresno, which is in Clovis, where I live. So that's why I
Hmm.
like watching him because he has a pulse on my local market. So
Yeah.
he's somebody, but yeah, he's interesting. One rental at a time. The guy, I think he has like 40,000 subs. He's working his
Wow.
way up.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look that up, and we can link that here as well. So I got one more big question for you that I'm excited about. Have you received any lawsuits that you can talk about?
So when I was earlier talking about I couldn't get into the details,
Oh,
that's what
okay.
I'm talking about. So I'm probably going to have to submit this now into the discovery, which is fine. It just creates
Oh
more
no.
paper. It creates more
Okay.
paperwork for my attorney, and she kind of doesn't like that. But other than that, it's not a big deal because I
I'm
won't say
sorry.
anything because I can't say anything. She told me to just keep
Yeah.
quiet about it. But again, on my channel, I did release a video as much information as I want to about that. But yeah, there is a lot of risk when you review people and your reviews are honest. And I'm not talking about the lawsuit. I'm talking about just in general. There's there's a lot of guys out there that if they're not honest type people, they'll have a tendency to threaten to sue you or, sue you or what have you because they don't like the truth. And I'm again not referring to the
Hmm.
lawsuit. I'm referring to just in general other reviews that I've done. Um, the truth is not their friend. Okay.
Yeah,
If
for
it was,
sure.
they would be sharing their P&L, right? Wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Like,
they'd
where's
be
the P?
showing everything, right?
Wouldn't
Like when
that
you,
create tremendous credibility
hmm
if they shared their
like when you go
P&L?
and invest in a business, for example, like the and that business is trying to get your money, they're legally required to show you everything, right? So if you were to be like, hey, I want to get involved in your Airbnb purchasing strategy, and throw some money, and then you're gonna take care of it for me, I'd be legally obligated to show you like all the profit and loss statements, all my reports. You'd have to see every dollar going in and going out. It you have to kind of think of these courses similarly. Like if you're putting cash into somebody's course, you're kind of investing in that person. And if that person can't show you all that information, it's not worth your investment. I know they're not legally required to show you those things,
Yeah,
but
because it's an
that's what it sounds
education
like.
business. Okay, so
Hmm.
it's an education thing. So you don't necessarily have to show that kind of stuff because it doesn't really fall under the education portion. But for me, I don't feel like anyone's credible if they're not showing their P&L. And I created on Twitter, I'll update it probably today or tomorrow, my Real P&L no-show list. And so it's a list of Twitter instructors that have avoided my question about P&L. And so the list is growing every week. So
That's
if you have
awesome.
Twitter and you're
We'll just
interested
share
in
that for sure.
if you're interested in someone that sells a course, you might just go to my Twitter account and see if they're on the list. And if they are, I would not. I would avoid them. I'm not saying that I didn't take the course or anything, but they don't want to talk about P&L. I can tell you that. And typically, if they don't want to talk about P&L, to me, that's a huge red flag. And in fact,
Agreed.
like I said, 99.9% of them, or 99% of them, will not talk about P&L. They will avoid it
Okay.
at all costs.
Yeah, because it's not a good statement for them. So I have a last question, and then I'll give it over to you to kind of plug anything or throw any comments in that we missed. But the last one is, so someone getting started, you said earlier they should they should look into your course because you actually show your P&L, you show it what it is that you do, and a brand new investor could skip 20 years worth of trial and error by taking a look at what you got. Is there anything else you would tell someone who's just thinking about getting into trading?
Okay, so if you try to trade stocks, that means you're going to be directional, and I haven't seen anyone that's directional that's consistently profitable. And I've asked so many people. I've been around for what, 4 years now, asking everyone, are you consistently profitable being directional? And I haven't seen anyone that's directional in a long-term basis or consistently profitable. So stocks are not the way. There's no edge there. That's what I've found.
Mm,
There's people that'll disagree with me, but then they won't really share their P&L. So,
mm,
if you want to disagree, I'm totally all for it. I'll show you my P&L. Options are the way to go if you want to trade because there is
mm.
an edge with options if you sell options. Because if you buy them, it's a low probability scenario. So you're going to lose more trades than you win. So buying options provides leverage, but you're not going to really, there's no edge there. There's actually the edge is the opposite. You're taking the edge away. Selling options, there's an edge. But the problem with that is that edge is really good until the market crashes. And
Mm.
then that edge goes away and everything that you built for the last year, 2, 3 years is all gone. So you need to capitalize on that edge while you're hedged at the same time. and you want to be proactively hedged. If you're not really interested in trading, like you're not serious,
Hmm.
like this isn't a passion of yours, you just thought you could make a quick buck, just dollar cost average in the S&P 500. Like seriously, that will outperform all these gurus out there. It won't outperform me. I believe I can outperform the S&P 500, and I've proven that I can. But you have to have, you got to be passionate about it, and I'll teach you. If you're just kind of ho-hum, just dollar cost average into the S&P 500, because that's a good way to go. Because what'll happen is you can kind of avoid paying taxes because you're dollar cost averaging and you're never selling, so you can get into the long term. You can hold for a long time, years and years, and you can use an account that's tax free, like 401k or a IRA, and you can
Hmm.
grow tax free. I mean, that's the way to go if you're not seriously passionate about trading. So it's like all or nothing with trading, right? You can't go halfway. If you're going to go halfway, just dollar cost average. Even Warren Buffett, I
Yeah, that's
think,
good
says that
advice.
too, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah, and we say the same thing about real estate. Like we can produce way higher returns in real estate than the S&P 500. We've mathematically shown we can do over 20%, but you have to put effort
It's
in
work.
and you have to enjoy that effort. Yeah, because it doesn't come for free. I mean, it's low effort once you start getting to a certain point because you get a manager, they take care of a lot, you're just having conversations and then maybe 1 or 2 hours a month you're talking to people or doing some accounting, but to get to that point where you're successful is a lot of
So
work
you
and you
on
have
your
to
channel, all
like
that's
that.
there because I might be doing an Airbnb thing here in the next. It's going to be a while, maybe somewhere between 2 and 10 years. But I
Yes,
will
sir.
have an
Yeah, got all the
Airbnb.
numbers.
I'll have an Airbnb type property. So maybe I'll be watching your channel and contacting you.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Always open to talk about that stuff. It is my favorite thing for sure.
yeah.
So yeah, last before we cut out, anything else that you want to say that I missed or that you want to plug? Now's the time.
Well, I just say if you're interested in learning about trading, you come to my channel. If you're interested in seeing some of the gurus, uh, real results from me taking the actual course, that a lot of people find that interesting. So you can
Hmm.
come to my channel and also follow me on Twitter at Karl Domm. Maybe you can put a link in there
Yeah, I'll
for
put that
that.
all down below.
And that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't have any like canned, you know, pitch or anything like a lot of the guys that have courses do. It's just come to my channel, check it out. If you like it, you'll end up learning. And if you're
All right.
passionate, it's a great place to learn.
Awesome. Thanks, Carl. Super appreciate you coming on. This has been really cool. We've been trying to talk about scammers and different people that are trying to take your money without actually producing. And this was a big one. And I had plugged you before in a previous video where I'd said, like, if this is something you're interested in getting into, these are the people to take a look at. And one of them was your channel. He reviews the courses. And so it's really cool to be able to get you on to talk about it and to ask some questions and get some stories. I hope that your unspeakable troubles gets rounded out properly. And whenever you are allowed to talk about that, maybe we can. I'm gonna link that video you were talking about,
Yeah,
but maybe you can get back
that's
on here and
definitely
tell us about what happened. I'd be super interested.
definitely super interesting of what's going on, but it's kind of crazy that I can't even say anything about it. But
Yeah.
I'm looking
All
forward
right.
to it. Maybe the way it ends, I won't be able to say anything. You just never know.
That's true
Never
too.
know.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe a cutout and a non-disclosure. That's a possibility.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Well,
All
thanks,
right.
Carl. Appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
Okay, AJ, good talking with you. Appreciate it.
I want to thank Carl for coming on. It was an awesome interview. We had a great time. I think we both learned a lot, and I would love to have him on again at some point in the future. Maybe, hopefully, he'll be able to tell us what happened with that unspeakable or unmentionable item, and that would be kind of fun to hear about. But to help him out, please head down to our description. We're linking to his channel. Follow his channel. He's got some great information. If day trading is something you're interested in, you're going to want to check out his stuff and see his reviews of other channels or other people and start asking for their real P&L, and including Karl's. Ask for Karl's real P&L so you could see how well he does. And I think his yearly returns of, I think he said somewhere between 15 and 20% are more realistic. That's what you should be expecting per year. And if someone is promising over than that, I would love to see that P&L. I just doubt that that's actually a thing, that someone's capable of doing it. So I'd be interested to see. But I'm glad that you stuck it through. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.